Hello, family. Welcome back to Wasteland Wednesdays and another episode of Vermin 2047. We're really excited. It's going to be great. So much has happened that I can't remember any of it. But I think someone killed my drone. What the hell? Uh, yeah, it's going to be great. Hope you've been enjoying it. If you have been, and even if you haven't, please hit like and subscribe and all that other stuff. Come talk to us on Discord. The link is down below in the comments. No, in the description, even. But for now, with Devious Dungeons for Wedding Forest and the Coolest Cats, my name is Phil. These are our amazing cast of Neil, Chris, and Johnny. We're the Dark Orb. Stick around. Hey, welcome, friends. How are we?
Hello.
It's Wednesday yet again.
Doesn't
Another
Wednesday
one.
come around so fast?
We get so many Wednesdays in a week. It's incredible.
It's amazing.
Actually, being honest, this is the first time we've recorded a session this week, and it's nearly Wednesday. And yeah, it's been a good week, and I'm really excited to get back to this game. It's been a lot of fun. So shout out to Studio Agate for publishing it. It's a shame that there isn't more of it available, and we've only got the survival kit. But
For
hopefully
now.
that will change. For now, yeah. The totem system is really interesting. We're not doing all of it. We haven't been running with all of the rules because it can get super crunchy. I mean, by our standards, we're mostly playing those newfangled, story-based games where you roll one die and then make it up. So, not quite.
I think we are using most of the standard rules,
but
absolutely. Not any of the optional rules.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they were, but there were some rules in there that sounded absolutely incredible, but then you just kind of end up thinking, that sounds like a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some things. I'm just trying to flick through the book now.
It's nice that they're optional, though. So, some groups could use the whole lot, or you can, use the sort of bare minimum.
Absolutely.
Nice to have that choice.
Yeah, I agree. And what we have done so far has been amazing. Neil, how are you? Happy Wednesday to you.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yesterday I had an unexpected.
Yesterday, Tuesday.
That's right, Tuesday. And I went to visit Bristol Independent Gaming, which I've not been to before. And it's absolutely great. It's an enormous place set up mainly for war games or minis games.
Yeah.
I don't count how many tables they've got, but he reckons it's one of
because it was more than 3?
Exactly, yeah, and I struggle after that. He reckons it's probably one of the biggest dedicated gaming spaces in the country.
Nice.
Or war gaming spaces.
Yes.
And I think that's probably true. He being Jim, shout out to Jim at Bristol Independent Gaming. Really nice.
All right there, Jim.
And if anyone's in, not from Bristol, doesn't have the accent, sadly.
Oh.
But yeah, if anyone's in Bristol or nearby and doesn't know it, and particularly if you're into your war games, I actually called in mainly just to get some paints. I just needed some more paints.
So yeah, you're getting back into that, aren't you?
Well, trying, yeah. So yeah, but they have all kinds of events and stuff there all the time. Loads of like tournaments and friendly little Tuesdays. They have a craft day where you can just turn up for free and sit around,
drink craft beer
with other people.
Well,
and yeah, it's cool. So I just thought it'd be worth a shout out. If anyone's in the south, when near Bristol and doesn't know it, definitely go and say hello. It's really cool.
That sounds amazing. Chris, how are you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been busy planning my Oktoberfest game.
Ooh, and I think by this point in time, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think by this point in time, Oktoberfest probably hasn't happened yet.
It's close now, isn't it? Yeah, it's close.
It's getting there.
Yeah, planning is happening.
If it has already happened, then I played your game and it was amazing.
And the planning paid off?
Yeah, exactly. Best GM.
Yeah. In fact, everyone played your game, Chris, and it was phenomenal.
I've got a list of about 20 people willing to play, all getting 7 characters. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because you're playing a solo role-playing game.
Yeah.
No, you are running Merc Borey, aren't you? Morkborg.
I am. Yes.
And it's such a great game. And I will tell those of you who haven't yet heard somehow that for Oktoberfest, we have a unique piece of art that has been commissioned, and we've all seen it. It's amazing. It's by Johan Nohr, who is the co-creator and one of the main artists for Mörkborg, and Stockholm Cartel stuff, generally renowned for his gothic and, let's face it, messed up art. And he's doing the t-shirt design for us, and we'll look at putting up somewhere like on a Spreadshirt or one of those kind of on-demand printers afterwards. Johnny, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, just bought my t-shirt online. So if you come in, you'll see me rocking that shirt at Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest. So yeah, come and check it out. We've got very few tickets left for the main event, so they may even have all sold out by now. Woo! But we'll make it work. Don't worry. And I'm fine, thanks, guys. Yeah.
How
Thanks
are you?
for asking.
How's things?
Right, enough. I'm going to bundle up the game. Are you ready, Neil?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's coming.
Yeah!
Oh, it caught it. And with that, boom.
So we rejoin our little band of survivors, Mono,
Wait, little.
Ira, and 12, in their van, or in Mono's van, parked in the what was the parking area for a little hiking trail somewhere in the depths of Devon, surrounded by the forest, a good couple of hours away from the town, where they come out to investigate the threat of the hornets that are infesting the forest. Mono sent his drone out to get a better look.
I think it's gone down. There's nothing coming from it. Just saying.
And yeah, that is exactly where we left it. You caught sight of a hornet, didn't you, in the on the screen, I guess. And it had just been souped up a little bit, hadn't it, your drone?
Yeah.
But so attacked by hornets, and now presumably, very most likely, lying on the forest floor.
I'm so devastated that I'm going to have to turn to drink. This is my last drink. Craft ale.
Hey, you guys that were looking at the screen, did you get a size, like a scale of how big those hornets were?
It's a small lens, so it's hard to tell, but I think at least, I mean, they look like maybe the size of a fist.
Okay, well, maybe we'll just have to get you a new drone.
Sure. They're very easy to find. In fact, it did not take me 15 years to put that together. So yeah, sure. Thanks, Ira.
Well, it's not going anywhere for the moment.
I know it's not going anywhere.
That's a good thing. Yeah, we can
that's the problem.
Maybe we can come back and get it. Maybe just not with those hornets there.
Yeah, I guess. Well, now I want to find it, and I want to take down those fucking hornets.
Well, seeing as those hornets are busy, why don't we go and explore the other side of the woods that people haven't been to for a while?
Sure.
If nothing else, maybe we can find a boar or deer or something to be some food for the
barbecue
for the community. Yeah. Neil, I remember you mentioning in the car park was essentially like a footpath sign.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of intact? How does that look? Does it have the footpath still kind of pointing off it?
Yeah, it's leaning a bit, but you can pretty clearly make out.
You can figure out it was.
Yeah.
So it would have been that way, for instance.
Yeah.
And does it look like if I went that way, I would be able to use my wheelchair, or would I have to leave the wheelchair and use crutches?
I think the chair would probably be okay, because the forest is not so dense. You might have to occasionally make a little.
If I want to go off the path, I'd have to.
But, But yeah, it looks like you probably would. And of course, your chair has been made to be pretty rugged, and it's got some big chunky tires on, so it kind of has been designed to have a bit of an off-road use. So yeah.
Hey guys, I mean, these paths should do a circular route around the forest, right? If they're just for locals doing a little nature trail or something, maybe
Sure.
you can use that to scout the area and just be a little bit quicker.
Quicker if you went. But sure.
I'm willing to go. I just got to get out. I'm not going to go on my own, unless you guys want to split the party again. You two can try and get your.
The GM loves this. Yeah, no. Mono's obviously clearly pissed off, but whilst he's giving this kind of really antisocial vibe, you could tell that actually he's preparing and he's completely on board. He's just venting.
How about you, 12? You going to come with us? Do you want to try and stick around for those hornets?
Of course, I'll keep you company, you guys. I'm not going to let you go and walk out in these woods in the unknown with not only the hornets, but there was this talk of the silent ones as well. I won't let you go out there alone, for sure. Let me just get my sledgehammer.
Okay. How about you, Merc? You going to come with us as well? I think Merc's probably falling asleep in the back there.
Sorry.
12, wake Merc up.
No, not like that.
She says, yeah, of course, absolutely. I'm to be honest, I'm never happier than when I'm out in nature and out in the forest. I don't know that area of the forest you're going in well, so I'm not sure it'll be that much of a guide, but absolutely.
Well, that's okay. We'll just try and follow the old path.
Strength in numbers.
Mono, pull the lever. Let me out of here.
It's a Rube Goldberg machine. A whole load of things kind of wear around.
Yeah.
So
out the vehicle.
So you get out the van. I think we'll probably say it's because it took you a few hours to get out here, so it's probably like mid-afternoon. So you still got plenty of time left before night time. Certainly enough for a quick scout. That shouldn't be a problem.
I presume we can pay attention to the time as well. I don't presume we can see the sky to see the sun, but I will know it's getting late, so we won't spend more than an hour and a half.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Back to the van well before.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, that should be pretty easy.
Just quickly as well, are we following the footpath specifically, or are we just going to be
the plan?
Heading off into the woods? Yeah. Okay. Could we take something? I don't know, like a chalk or something, or just something that we can mark away if we lose the footpath, or we think we're going to head off into the woods for a bit. Just something we can. I don't know, cable ties. I feel like we might have some cable ties or something. Just something we can put around branches or something, and that we say, look, we've come this way if we need to find our way back.
Yeah, I think cable ties is a good idea. Yeah, you'd certainly have something like that. Yeah. Okay. And so are you looking for anything in particular as you head off? Do you have any specific aim?
Yeah, I think Ira would be looking for, how we potentially see marks in the town saying this house has been searched. Mm-hmm. Anything that looks like it's a mark in the forest.
Okay, yeah.
As if there's a little code or something. Maybe the silent ones are real and they might have left the path. Or the kids that went missing might have left the path.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Never know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'd also be very, very on high alert for any sort of buzzing sound coming our way.
Yeah.
That'd be high on the agenda.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the forest, like I say, it's not super dense, but I mean, quite clearly it's been a while since any tourists have walked this path, so it is a little bit overgrown. But it originally started off as a reasonably wide, probably this was quite a busy area and probably quite well traveled. So it was quite a wide path, and So even though it's begun to sort of get grown over and there's plants kind of pushing through, it's still relatively easy to follow. And there's a couple of like posts or bits of tree that still show a bit of yellow paint where somebody's kind of marked the route out. So you set off quite easily. The going's relatively good, and you're kind of on high alert. And I guess you're all kind of staying roughly together, I suppose. Yeah. And Merc seems very happy in the forest, and like you, she's kind of keeping a bit of a wary eye around. And you start with, you don't see anything of particular kind of note. Some birds fly by, and there's a little rustle in the undergrowth, some distance, maybe a squirrel or some small animal. And every time you hear something, you sort of pay attention, but nothing much that alerts you or seems concerning, and no sign of any footprints or that anyone's been this way. No signs initially, anyway, and none of the traveller's runes. But after you've been walking for probably 45 minutes or so, or walking or wheeling, you hear... Actually, let's get a roll for it. So you might not hear. Why don't you each please give me a perception plus vigilance.
Okay.
So Ira should be quite good at this.
Just to check, this is a hearing check. It's not a sight check.
This is hearing, yes.
I presume 2 successes are 7 and 8.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I should have said 7.
Yeah.
I feel like totally unnecessarily I've got a 9 and a 10 and a 3. I hate rolling high when I don't need to.
Yeah, it feels like a waste. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've just got an 8.
Okay. So let's say Ira and 12 then. With 2 successes each, you hear the sound of voices coming from roughly up ahead. It's kind of hard to tell if it's the voices are on the path or not, because you can't really see exactly where the path goes. Just very faint, just as the wind changes maybe, and you just get just really faint. So still some distance away, hard to judge exactly how far. And when you look, you can't yet see anyone. Sounded like maybe a woman and a man, and you couldn't make out any words, but definitely just a kind of a casual tone, like a kind of chatting sort of tone.
Hey, Merc, do your scouts ever come up here? Would that noise be Park and whatever? What was her name? Can't remember her name. Liar. Could it be them?
She frowns and she says, I didn't hear anything, but well, I mean, I guess there's nowhere that they don't go except for where the hornets are now. So theoretically they might sometimes come to this area, but I know for a fact that they were going to stay back in the village, partly because I'm coming out, and there's this threat that we told you about from the raiders, so we don't want too many people out of the village at one time, and they're really our expert defense force. So there's no reason they'd have left the village. I can't imagine it's any of our guys.
Well, if there's any chance it's not one of your guys, I think we should probably go quietly.
Yeah, I agree. Could be anyone. Could be raiders even.
Maybe we can try and get a little bit close without making too much noise, just to be able to be within earshot or see what they're saying.
Okay. I think with 2 successes, I think that probably indicates that you kind of pick them up some distance off, so you probably do have the time to sort of think about how you would do that.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest difficulty is probably Ira's chair, But like I say, as you've got a bit of time, I think you could probably edge closer, but at the same time be aware of kind of keeping a bit sort of hidden or not just kind of blundering forwards.
Mhm. Yep.
So I think, yeah, I don't think I'm going to ask for another roll. I think we can kind of encompass it all in that first one. So you managed to get a little bit closer, and sure enough, two people. Sounds like, I mean, two adults. Hard to tell age from a voice. They don't sound especially young or especially old. A man and a woman, and the woman says, "Do you think we're getting close now?" And the man says, "Yeah, I think. I mean, if that information was right, then maybe, I don't know, we should get there tomorrow, I think." And then she says, "Are you sure this is a good idea? I mean, it might not be good information. You know how people are. I don't know if I trusted that guy we met. And what if they're hostile? What if they don't want us? What if they attack us?" He said, No, you're worrying too much. It's not everyone's like that. There are still good people, and I'm sure this is gonna be good for us.
Look, I'll whisper to the group. Do you guys hear that? I think they're going to go to the community down the hill. Do you think we should bother intercepting them, or should we just let them get to the doors?
What's your read on them? Do you think they're good people?
Would I need to roll for that, or can I just go for what they said?
Just go for what they said.
I mean, they sound like you and me. They sound like they're just looking for a place to stay, afraid of what could potentially be there. Just like anybody.
They're worried about bad people, meeting bad people. So bad people don't tend to worry about meeting other bad people. It's only the good people that worry about that. So I think maybe they're okay. But I wouldn't mind listening in a little more if we can. Are they walking down the path towards us, Neil?
Good question. Yeah, it sounds, you still can't see anything, but it sounds like they're getting closer, certainly.
And they're heading sort of towards the community that we've come from.
Not exactly, actually. If they're coming towards you, they're sort of going in roughly the right direction, but off on a bit of a tangent. So basically, if they carry on going in the direction you think they're coming in, they'll get to you. And then if they carried on in a straight line, they would hit the main road that you drove down to get to where you're parked. So then they'd kind of, if they were heading to the community, then they'd turn and follow the road.
Do you think maybe they're coming to speak to us?
Maybe.
Who knows we're here apart from the community? But
Well, I know, and I didn't tell anyone.
True. Ira, did you overhear them saying that they'd spoken to a man? Did you hear that as well? And he
Yeah, but that could have been Paul. Could have been that guy on the quad bike.
I guess we don't know how long they've been traveling, really.
Yeah, it sounds like they've been traveling for a little while. Look, I'm like the least threatening person being on four wheels. How about I mean, I can't hide anyway. Why don't I just go on up and see what they say?
Sure. You got your shotgun?
No.
Rifle.
I have a rifle. I have a pistol. And I've got a red pen. Sign of authority.
Sign of what now?
Order. That one, yeah. Red pen's a sign of authority, all right?
Sure. Make sure you sign their forms with the red pen.
If
they do anything wrong,
they'll see it.
If they do anything wrong,
don't have a red stamp. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not going to shoot them though. Unless they shoot me first.
Or miss you first?
Ideally, yeah.
Well, if we don't do something, we'll be talking forever and the GM will get bored.
They're probably here already.
They've walked past already.
Yeah, they've gone. Sorry.
Who are those weird people who are just talking amongst themselves?
They completely ignored us when we walked past. It was weird.
All right, I'm gonna wheel forward ahead of the rest.
Okay.
But I leave everything holstered because
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be a threat.
Even the pen.
Even the pen.
Except the fan.
Even the pen.
Are you going enough forward that you're sort of out of sight of the others, or just like a little bit? Kind of.
12,
Unless
12
the-
wouldn't
the-
allow it.
Yeah, unless the path bends and it's like just out of sight, I don't think it would be far enough
Yeah.
to
No, okay.
bother.
Yeah.
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 12 will come and sort of stand next to Ira or just slightly behind. So if there was any trouble.
Yeah.
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 And kind of leap in.
Bodyguarding.
Okay. So before too long, the source of the voices comes clear. Around the corner come actually three people. A woman in her 30s-ish, slightly older guy, maybe late 40s, and a kid, maybe 8, 9, something like that, who's kind of slightly trailing them and just kind of kicking stones and, just kind of following them along. And as soon as they see you, they kind of, start. You don't see any weapons on them, and their initial sort of shock immediately turns to just sort of curiosity more than anything. And he kind of holds up his hands, and she immediately turns behind her and says, Tom, come here, and kind of gathers the boy like protectively to her side. And then she waits as the guy takes a couple of steps forwards. So, greeting, friends. We weren't expecting to see anyone, but it's very nice to see you. My name's Graham. This is Linda and Tom.
Well, hi there. I wasn't expecting to see anybody out here either. My name's Ira. And then behind me somewhere we've got 12, Mono, and Merc. I couldn't help but overhear you folks walking through the woods here. You want to be careful. There's a scary batch of hornets back there the size of a fist. They're each, not the whole batch, each of them are the size of a fist. They're dangerous. You might want to be careful heading that way.
And he sort of raises his eyebrows and he says, "Thank you for the warning. We've heard, we've managed to avoid anything like that so far, but of course we've heard rumors. You know how people talk. Tell me, are you from the Aeolians community?"
Well, those three personally are not. We're with them at the moment, but Merc here, yep, full-time fledged member of the Aeolians.
And Merc steps forward at that, and she says, "Not many people, even local people, have heard of us, and we kind of like it that way. Can I ask how you know of us and what your intention is?" And at that, the woman immediately steps forward, quite sort of eagerly, and she says, "We just met a passing traveler, someone who'd he just had heard rumors. To be honest, I didn't really think of asking him exactly how he'd heard, but he told us of a community that's established and peaceful, and where everyone works together. And he gave us some rough directions. We managed to find a map, and we sort of figured out where we reckon you are. And well, I guess maybe we were right if we're close. And we're just looking for some somewhere to stop, really, and feel safe. We haven't felt safe for too long." Merc kind of nods understandingly, and she says, much like basically, I won't role play out the whole speech, but she basically gives the same introduction that you got. That we welcome anyone. Everyone's expected to pitch in, and just you'll have to be approved by the two people in charge, and they kind of listen and nod and say, "Oh, this is excellent. This is really good." And the woman turns to the young lad and she says, "See, Tom, we found it. We're gonna have a new home. I think. I hope." And he smiles and he looks quite happy. And yeah, so then I think Graham says, "So you guys are obviously. I mean, what are you doing out in the woods? So should we come with you, or are you heading off? Like, could you give us directions to go on our own? Like, what's the best thing to do?"
Well, I don't think you have to leave without us. Say, what did you go past when you came down this path? Is there anything of interest we could be looking out up there, or?
They give you like a brief gun. They kind of tell you the route they've come. And what they've done is they've basically joined this hiking path, sort of maybe like a mile or so along. And there's nothing much. They haven't seen anything in particular noteworthy. They haven't come across any people in a while. They did find some travelers' runes carved into a stone in a little kind of like clearing in the forest. That was just one of the standard sort of kind of map runes that identified fresh water close by. So at some point, someone's been past and made that mark to help other people. But aside from that, nothing much.
Well, Mono, do you think we got space in the van for everyone? Can we get us all in?
Probably. It'll be a squeeze, but how
not far,
old is the child?
How what? Sorry.
How old? How physically large is the child?
The child's like 8 or 9. He's pretty small.
Probably be okay.
He's only skinny.
And he's seeing that these new people seem to be accepted as friends by the two he's with. He's already kind of lost interest a little bit and is kind of looking around the forest and finds a stone, picks it up and kind of throws it at a tree and just he's kind of amusing
500,000 hornets come out of the tree, we'll die.
Well, I don't think we're going to be getting the drone imminently. Are you happy to travel back?
Who? Me?
To all of y'all. It's not just my decision here.
Well, I guess the question is, do we have enough fuel for a return journey? If we go back there, will we be able to come back out again?
That's a very good point.
I'm sure with our mission sort of set by the community to try to eliminate the problem, whether by throwing them away or just killing them somehow, the community would probably be very favorable on lending us some fuel to get back here to deal with those hornets. So
sure, if they have it, yes.
And Merc would chip in at this point, said, "Yeah, we haven't got a huge stock of fuel, but we've got enough. It's not all that far."
Do you have red diesel?
Yeah, we've got every color of diesel.
My words.
We've got blue diesel, we've got green diesel, we've got a bit of purple diesel left.
At which point I look at 12, and 12's like,
yeah, no, she says, yeah, don't worry, we've got, like I say, we haven't got a load, but we can sort you out.
Great. Okay. Well,
so the only thing is, she says, that it's not getting dark yet, but it's a couple of hours. Well, first of all, we've got to get back to the van, and then we've got to think about getting back to the village. She said, it's up to you guys, but I wonder if it's wise not to drive at night.
I agree.
Just because it's so obvious. If there are raiders around or anything, a van traveling at night is, on a main road. It's like painting a big. I was going to say neon sign, but she's young; she wouldn't know what a neon sign is. It's like an LED yelling out something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you suggesting that we camp, or are you suggesting we leave now?
Like I said, I'm always happy in the forest. I'd be happy enough if we could camp. Like we could even, some people would sleep in the van if they're more comfortable. That car parking place where we pulled up, that seems like as good a place as any. But if you feel like you want to just head back, I don't think it's the end of the world. I'm happy. She says I'm happy to go with the kind of consensus vote.
So with the van keys in my hand, I look at Ira. I'm gonna go.
I think they got a point. We should probably wait till daylight to travel again.
Wait, or
Maybe
we'll
we'll
go now.
I'd say we wait.
Gonna
Let's
camp?
not risk. Let's camp. Yeah.
Okay, let's find out if the GM knows the camping rules for the game.
Yeah, it's roll a bunch of D10. I mean, you'd have basic camping stuff, wouldn't you? And you'd be well used.
We've slept in this van many a time.
Exactly. So,
I think Mono's just like I don't understand people. Maybe these people want to get back to the safe haven straight away, but I don't care. Van's my home.
Yeah. Okay. So you turn around, you go back to the car park, and I guess you'd be chatting on the way, and you establish that the woman Linda is a former botanist, and it's her son that's with her, Tom. And the guy is not related to them at all. He's just sort of a traveling companion, someone they met along the way. They decided to band together, much as you guys have. And he's Graham, and he's a carpenter, or former carpenter anyway. And they've been kind of getting by partly with her botany skills. She's been able to identify edible plants, and so they've kind of just about made a way for themselves. But they're really just like they're not suited for. Well, they're certainly not suited for any kind of aggression or really, for that matter, survival in this hostile environment. They've just about been scraping by. Moving from one place to another, but always just looking for somewhere to settle down, and they're hoping that maybe they found it. And Merc is kind of chatting with them. She tells them a little bit, stuff you already know about the community and the fact they're trying to get electric and all this kind of stuff. She seems quite open, quite happy to kind of tell them at least the basics, And you get back to the car park, and Graham suggests, well, we've got a little bit of food, just some bits and pieces. We could probably make some kind of like a simple soup stew kind of thing. We haven't got any meat, but we got some nice kind of veggie pieces, and we could build a little fire and share that. Does that seem like a good plan?
Sounds good to me.
So they start then gathering a bit of, you all just kind of start making yourselves at home, going about your routine of getting the van ready and bits and pieces. They start gathering some fire, and Graham seems to be mainly in charge of once some bits of wood have gathered, of kind of building the structure of a fire. And then you hear the woman, Linda. You hear her calling out, "Tom! Tom!" And then from just a little bit into the woods, "Yeah, it's all right, Mum, I'm over here. So don't go too far. Come back where I can see you." And he says, I found it. Come and have a look. I found this thing." It's really cool. And she said, Tom, come back here. And she stands up and she starts walking over to where his voice is coming from. It's kind of it's like this weird grey thing, and then you hear buzzing.
I think you found your drone.
And then you hear yeah. And then you hear a scream, the distinct sound of a 8-year-old suddenly terrified, and crashing sounds coming from the wood. She was already headed in that direction. She breaks into a run. Graham also stands up from the fire, kind of looking around, alarmed, and starts heading off in that direction. What are you all doing?
I'm going to run to the van and turn the lights on. And yeah, start the van to kind of make sure that it's pointing in the right direction.
Yeah.
Good
idea. Okay.
I'll wheel forward to the edge of the car park. It's probably about as far as I can get, realistically.
In the direction that
it's like this wooden fence, you can't get past it.
Yeah.
Okay. And
how dark is it at the moment?
Probably, I mean, even if you did the whole route, you were planning to be back by twilight. So I guess it's just the very beginning of twilight. So it's, you've got the shade from the trees, but it is beginning to get a little bit dark. It's not pitch black or anything. Nowhere near.
Do we have a torch? Do we have a torch in the van, or
no? I've not got a torch.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of thing I probably would say no unless it's on your character sheet, which I don't think.
No, I don't.
No, not for me.
In that case, I think I'd probably grab the sledgehammer.
Can't use that as a torch.
Which is yeah.
Okay.
And just head off. I think after the woman, running that direction.
Okay. So Ira and 12, you move over in that direction. Graham's there, and Linda is just slightly in advance. You heading quite frantically towards the these crashing, flailing sort of sounds and Tom's screams. And he's calling out, "Mom, Mom!"
Oh, it's still alive. It's fine.
Yeah, no, just relax. But there is definitely also this buzzing sound. The crashing is coming towards you. He's obviously, running back towards the campsite where you are. And Mono, you jump in the van. You quickly start it up and just.
I think I'll wheel it forwards, so that it is nearer to everyone in case I want to jump in.
Yeah, good idea. Okay. And then once you've done that, are you going to stay in the van, or are you going to jump out? Or
I think I'm going to leave one side of the van open, the side that's nearest the forest.
Yep.
And then, does anyone happen to know, because I'm an idiot, which we all know, and didn't put any further details down, I've got a weapon called Gladys, and I can't for the life of me remember what it is.
That was your flamethrower thing, right?
Was that the flamethrower? Okay.
Which is in pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't remember if it was something else. Okay, no, it's fine. So I think I'll just have my handgun ready, and I'll just stand by the door of the van, ready, covering, basically.
But ready to jump in.
And Ira and 12 both know that if they need me there, they can just shout.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm ready for a hasty getaway. I don't think it's the first time we've had to do this.
Probably not. Yeah, right. Okay, fine. So 12 and Linda, and actually also Merc is also running off with you. You make it to pretty much the edge of the car park, so the beginning of the woods, and Graham as well. Just as Tom comes into sight, stumbling and just kind of blindly sort of running as fast as he can in your direction, crying out like crazy, pursued by 3 big hornets. It looks, he's kind of, as he runs, he's kind of holding his other shoulder. It looks like maybe he's been stung. Linda and Graham, as I said, don't have any weapons. Merc has a bow, and you've obviously got your guns and sledgehammer. As he runs nearer and you all begin to kind of converge, another one of the hornets kind of comes down, and you see it coming down behind him, and he cries out in pain, and it makes him trip and fall. He falls basically flat on his face, and all 3 hornets kind of descend towards him. I think at this point you're close enough, you're within view. So those of you with ranged weapons, I guess you can all see this, particularly because it's been lit up now by the van. So you're in a position where you could, I mean, it's not going to be easy to take a shot at a small hornet, but you could give it a try if you want, or you could do something else.
I think I'll probably try.
Yeah.
From a distance, yeah. Seems like a logical thing that Ira would do.
Yeah. What about Mono? It's going to be even harder for Mono, probably, from further back.
I think I'd be worried about hitting someone else. So probably not.
Yeah. Okay. And 12. So you're still like a little bit of a distance away, but it's not going to be too much if you wanted to get closer, or are you holding your distance?
Are there lots of trees in between us and them? Can I get the van any closer? Is what I'm actually
okay. You said you were going to get it as close as you could anyway. So let's say you've done that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think 12 will. That buzzing sound. It's just those 3. It's not like we can see 3, and there's like a huge sound of buzzing behind them.
Yeah, and the buzzing is consistent with the noise made by 3 giant hornets.
3. Okay. I think 12 would be running in. I think she'd still be going forward, either to sort of get at the hornets or to pull Tom up and away from them. Not sure how far she should get towards them, but
yeah, you can probably get pretty much there in this round. If we start thinking in terms of combat rounds, you can probably get pretty much there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anyone can hit a hornet from a distance, it's going to be Ira. So let's give it a try.
Okay.
So let's get, please, a roll for accuracy plus firearms.
Okay.
Now, it's going to be a... Actually, I should try and get the rules right. I was going to make it high difficulty. It's actually not high difficulty, but it's a high handicap. So
Okay.
its difficulty is 7, because you're not that far away. But the handicap is going to be 3, maximum handicap. So you need 4 successes at 7.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put 2 of my nerve dice in to give me 6.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's good odds.
Yeah, it's
I'm
going
going to try that for now. 1, 2, just 2. I have 1 reroll.
Oh yeah.
Which is not enough. That's 5 again.
Can I give an automatic success by spending a strain?
Good.
You can, because you're on new ability, or the party's new ability.
Yeah. We're only allowed to do that.
Do I get a bonus dice because I'm using my precision rifle speciality?
Oh yes, you do. Well remembered.
Okay, so that's one more, which is another 10. That gives me 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's 3 without strain.
So if I mark 1 strain, that's 4, is it now?
That would be 4, but we only need 3, right?
No, you needed 4.
Oh, we did need 4. Sorry. Yeah.
Handicap 3 means 3 extra successes.
Perfect. So yeah, 4 would do it. Just.
Cool. Okay. So by both drawing on your expertise with the rifle and on this strange kind of bond that you have with your fellow travelers, you take a careful aim. You sort of take a couple of deep breaths, line up one of the hornets just as it's kind of coming down for the tripped over Tom. Let fire a shot, and it's bang on, and hits the hornet, which kind of goes flying backwards and then just falls to the ground. This is just about as 12 gets to Tom. The other two hornets have both kind of descended on him. It looks like they've both stung him, and he's kind of crying out and kind of writhing around on the floor. As you get close to him, you see he looks really pale, and he's got these big red, now like 3 or 4 big, like huge red marks on him, like one on his neck, one on his shoulder, one on his like on his hand. And he's kind of he's like really properly crying now, like rolling around. He looks quite pale. And there's these 2 hornets there. As you get close, they kind of rise up, sort of seeing you. And so Merc is also hung back a bit, and an arrow comes whizzing past about the same time as Ira's shot rings out. The arrow misses, unfortunately, and just kind of thuds into a tree. Linda and Graham are with you, and Graham sort of holds back slightly. He's obviously doesn't quite know what to do. Linda doesn't care. She just wants to rescue her son, so she just runs in. She goes slightly ahead of you, and she just kind of grabs his arms and says it's okay, I've got you. Come, stand up, Brian, come on. And she's trying to like encourage him, but it looks like he's having trouble standing. Actually, he looks really kind of weak and a bit sort of lightheaded. And at this point, another half a dozen hornets come from behind, basically where Tom and the first 3 came from.
Guys, come on, run.
12, grab the kid.
You got it. 12's gonna just grab the kid's arm, one of the kid's arms. I'm imagining Linda's already got the other to the side, and we're just gonna start heading back towards the van as quickly as possible.
Yep.
Come on, Graham, keep up.
And as you do that, I guess Mono's staying in position by the van.
I think I'll get in at this point. And
getting in, okay.
Yeah.
And Ira, you said you'd kind of gone forward as much as you can. Are you sort of waiting to cover or to try and take another shot? Or are you retreating?
No, it'll take me longer to get in, so I need to go now.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So you're heading back to the van. All right. So between you, you being 12, between 12 and Linda, you managed to kind of drag Tom up, and he's absolutely still alive, and he's still conscious, but he looks kind of like, you can see he's sort of having trouble focusing a bit. He's sort of managing to sort of stumble forward. He probably wouldn't be able to make any progress if it wasn't for the fact that you're supporting him on both sides. But given that that's the case, it does make it somewhat slow going, especially compared with some fast-flying hornets. So as you drag him up and start to sort of escort him back to the van, the hornets descend on you, and I think I've got to say, I don't think you're going to have an opportunity to defend or dodge, because A, there's a number of them, and B, you've literally got your hands full. So I think I'm going to say that you just automatically get stung. So you take... Actually, I'll roll for it. See how much damage it does.
Congratulations, we die.
So you take 4 damage, which I think is a minor wound for 12.
I've got armor as well. Does that? I've got
yes.
partial light.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that.
Let me get your sheet.
I can't remember how armor works.
Yeah, so you subtract that from damage. So it's 4. Rating's 2, so that takes it down to 2, which is unfortunately still just enough to take a minor wound because your threshold is 2. So if you cross off one of your, do you remember?
Yep.
Cross off one of the minor wounds. And I think probably, maybe not Mono because you're in the van by now, but I think both 12 and Ira are going to find this pretty stressful. So I think you're both going to lose 2 dice from your nerve pool. Presumably, well, actually, I shouldn't presume. Johnny, are you? So you're stung. It's incredibly painful. Like it's like a wasp sting, but magnified by 50 or whatever. But it's relatively in the grand scheme of things, it's a minorish wound. It's not like it's not going to kill you. But there are others converging, and it looks like everyone else with you, so that's Linda and Graham, and still the kid, Tom, are all also being stung. Are you going to just kind of struggle on? Is the focus just get the kid to the van? Or
how long does it feel like it's going to take me to get to the van?
With him, taking him with you, it's probably going to be, if we think of it in combat rounds, it's probably another 3 or 4 combat rounds, which is not actually that much in time because the combat round's like really fast, but it's so slow to kind of drag him along with you.
I don't know if this is allowable. Can I do something where I sort of like strong arm him? So I basically use my strength and athleticism and just basically sort of almost just fireman's lift him and just go full, because instead of him stumbling,
like
him
forget trying to help him walk, just
pick him up and go, as full pelt sort of thing. Is that allowable for a roll?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can give it a roll and see how you do. 12 is pretty strong. So this would be, what's it going to be? It will absolutely be vigor for sure. And I think probably athletics, vigor plus athletics, I think works, which gives you a pretty good roll.
4 dice and a reroll.
I'm going to call it a difficulty 7. But again, I think given that the fact you're being assaulted by giant hornets, and that he's a dead weight and you're trying to do it as quickly as you can, it's going to have a heavy handicap. I'm going to give it a handicap of 3 again, so 4 successes.
Okay. Can I use strength as my speciality? Another dice. Is that okay?
Yeah.
If there's anything else that will help.
We can potentially add as well with our strain.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you need to.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I want to add a.
And by the way, just to set expectations, it is still going to take you some combat rounds to get. So this is not going to.
Yeah, suddenly we're in the van.
Quicker, yeah. Just bypass some of it.
I've just got to outrun Graham and Linda.
Just drop the kid.
Be accurate.
Yeah. I've put another, taken off another of my nerve just to add another dice. So I've got 6 dice and a reroll.
I do have one question now. One of our objectives was for the orphanage. If we grab the kid and leave the rest, that is one step towards our objective.
Refreshes our pools as well. I like your thinking.
It's always a silver lining.
Yeah, okay, so I've got a 1, a 3, 2 4s, a 9, and a 10. I'm just going to re-roll 1, which is a 7. 7's in a
Oh,
success
okay.
there,
So
isn't
you've
it?
got 3 successes then. 7, 9,
I've
and
got
10.
3 successes. So I just need 1 more, is it?
One more. Yeah.
Got a
One
reroll.
more. I've used the re-roll, but I can. I'll use 1 strain,
Oh.
I think.
Well, how about I take a strain off to give you the success because we swapped.
Is that okay?
So if you need,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, I'll do that this time because you just did it. So I'll take a strain.
Lovely. So 4 successes.
Okay, cool. So exactly as you said then, you just maybe say to Linda, let me take him, and you just kind of scoop him like under your shoulder, like, he's not that big. So kind of a fireman carry sort of thing. And just basically just in that position, just trying to make it as fast as you can. Even as strong and athletic as you are, it's still carrying a reasonably heavy weight. So it's definitely going to be quicker. It's definitely going to be quicker to get to the van. However, it seems like for whatever reason, Graham has just fallen slightly behind, like literally by 1 or 2 steps, hardly anything at all. And so he's taken the brunt of the stings. And you can hear him kind of crying out, and he collapses in a kind of thump behind you. And then those of you who can see, I guess 12's kind of running away, so you can't. But Ira and Mono kind of see he takes a couple of little like claws himself forwards, and then just collapses face down and stops moving. Ira, you're close to the van.
I'm basically
Mono,
getting in the van.
you're in the van, ready to go. Are you all carrying on with what you were doing, or at this point do you want to do something different?
I think I might just make a cup of tea.
Yeah, I don't want to risk. I don't want to risk shooting because I'm going to hit somebody.
Yeah.
At this point, it's a bit, yeah.
So I'm better off getting into the van and not slowing it down.
If we haven't got that down to a fine art, then where you can just roll on without
exactly.
us having to do anything, then I'll get out and help you. Whatever the most time efficient thing is, it might be that actually having another person helping you makes it take longer.
Well, I mean, this is something you'd have done many, many times. I imagine there's just a very simple like ramp mechanism, which would be down anyway, because Mono would put it down.
Yeah, it's me like Knight Rider.
In case if you just go straight up on the ramp, like it's pretty straightforward, I think. So I don't see that being, because it's something you'd be constantly on and off the van, so you'd have had it all set up, wouldn't you? Like,
I think it's gonna be like Knight Rider, where you can basically drive onto the van whilst the van is moving.
Yeah, exactly.
You get a lung full of diesel on the way, but
I mean, I can try and shoot one more. It's gonna be very hard.
Go for it. You must try really hard not to shoot the guy that's going to die.
Yeah. While the lift is kind of lifting me onto the van, I'll take a shot.
Okay.
So it was accuracy and firearms.
Firearms. You get an extra
+1 for my special ability. Let's see what we get. Same kind of difficulty in.
Yeah, I think so.
4 successes again.
4 successes, Fred. So.
Okay, that's even worse. So I'm not going to make that. Yeah, 1. Well,
no.
Yeah, 1 success.
Okay.
Yeah. And you need 4, is it?
Yeah, there's not point even. Yeah,
it's not worth probably spending.
I'm not going to keep trying. So that's another ammo. So I'm down to 8 bullets.
Okay, so at this point, you're probably not in a position where any of you are counting, but it seems like some more hornets have appeared. There's now a good number of them, and they're kind of everywhere. Not quite everywhere, but they're sort of spreading out, and they just seem to be kind of, which I guess maybe is why Ira has difficulty at like kind of hard to aim. Mono's probably okay in the van, but at least one of them gets to Ira, and of course to 12 and Linda and Tom. So I think Ira, you could probably. I think you should have a defense roll because you'd be able to see it coming. You'd be able to try and like dodge out the way or like swat it away or something. So I think that seems reasonable. So it's I've forgotten how to do it. Defense is accuracy plus brawl.
So that's why we took brawl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't get any.
Brawl, yeah.
I don't get any bonuses for brawl, do I? But I get automatic 6. Well, how is it? How did it work with the party thing?
Until the next time you fully rest,
If you get a success, you automatically get another success.
Gain an additional success.
Yeah.
But yeah, all successful actions gain an additional.
So I got to get a success. That would mean 2.
Exactly.
But I do have. Now you mention it. Mobility has a handicap of -1 dice.
Yes.
Is that going to count towards this?
I think that does apply.
So I have a whole 1 dice.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so you have to beat whatever I roll, or you have to equal whatever I roll on the attack roll.
Okay. I'm not even going to bother wasting anything because I'm going to get hit. So
I think it's
yeah, I got a 5.
Okay.
Could I like add a success? Is that how
I've
it
got
works?
half decent armor, so I'm kind of hoping
if I could be running towards you and I could coach you, be like, use your right elbow. Just like fluttering around, you just like swish it on the wall.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to kind of at this point kind of move around from where I am to try and help because I'm the closest person, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, whatever I need to do to protect Ira, basically.
Well, I think so. Without revealing what I rolled, I think Chris, you're right. It's fair to say that's a pretty rubbish roll, and it would if you want to
such a handicap there. Yeah.
If you want to spend dice on it, it's going to take a fair few.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
So,
honestly, I'd like to think my armor will absorb most of it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm not too worried about it.
Okay. Well, let me roll for 12 as well. Okay, so same for both. So you both take 4 damage minus armor.
So no damage for me.
For 12, that's another minor. Have you got 4 armor?
Got 4 armor, partial heavy armor.
Oh, wow, yeah.
My wheelchair has like metal plating and shit on my legs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool.
That's why I wasn't too worried. When you said when 12 had 2,
yeah, right.
I was like, wow, 4's quite high.
Yeah. Cool, okay. In addition, now I haven't been keeping track, so I don't know what effect this is going to have. But Johnny, you lose 2 nerve and 2 strain.
Oh dear.
Okay.
What does that take you down to?
I've got 1 nerve dice left in the pool and 3 strain left.
1 nerve and 3 strain.
I've got decent strain, but the nerve has taken me down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially with those 2 lots at the beginning.
Okay.
Actually, just a quick question. Throw this into the mix here. I've got adrenaline as my abilities, just realised, because I guess technically we're in combat, and I'm not quite sure exactly what it means, because if I read it off the combat sheet, off the character sheet, it reads different to how it does in the book. And I believe in the book it says something like, I don't take any strain, but then for every minor wound or for every wound I get after combat, it adds 2 dice in the strain pool and 1 in the nerve pool, if I'm reading that right off the character
something
one.
along those lines.
What is it? Is it?
It basically sort of keeps me on my feet during the fight.
So the adrenaline keeps you going until it crashes, and then
afterwards, and then I've incurred loads of these wounds, and I'm like suddenly just keel over basically and go.
Yeah,
I think actually it's mechanically it's not quite that. The way I'm reading it, so it says when 12 suffers wounds, she doesn't lose dice from the associated pool. So you don't lose nerve or strain dice when you suffer wounds, but once you're full up, so for instance, when you're full up with minus wounds, then, so in your case, it means if you've taken 4, then you suffer a 1 dice penalty on everything.
Right.
So I think what that ability means is you don't suffer that penalty once you fill up with wounds because of the adrenaline, as you say. But then you lose some strain and nerve at the end of the fight.
At the end of the fight.
So actually, at the moment, it doesn't make any difference because you haven't yet filled up your wounds.
My wounds. Yeah. Right. Gotcha. Yeah.
However, you haven't quite made it to the van yet. For Ira, I think given that you stopped to take a shot, I think I'm going to ask for a roll for Ira to see if you can basically see how quickly you get into the van. So this is going to have your movement penalty applied, and it's going to be accuracy plus steer.
Okay, so it's 2 plus 1. Minus 1.
Minus 1.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficulty 7, and
yeah, I got 1 success so far.
It will have a handicap. I don't think it needs to be 3. Let's give it a handicap of 2. So you need 3 successes.
Okay, I'm going to have to spend some strain. So I will spend 1 strain, 1 of the party pool. That's okay.
Ira looks over at the lever that he's got to press, and there's like a little handwritten note saying, in the case of emergency, press here, and you recognize 12's writing or whatever. So if I take 1 strain, is it okay to give him an automatic success?
Yeah, I need it. I've got 2 successes. Yeah.
Okay.
Even with my extra strain and the party pool dice.
Yeah. Okay. So in that case, you just about managed to kind of quickly maneuver up the ramp into the van and to kind of relative safety. However, as it turns out, losing that strain, Johnny, is going to be a deciding factor because it means that before you get to the van, basically what happens is every combat turn, you lose more nerve and strain. And the reason is you can feel, you basically start feeling really heavy and kind of like a sweat break, like too much sweat given the exertion, like a cold sweat kind of breaks out. And you realize basically that you're feeling the effects of the hornet's poison, above and beyond just the physical stinger. And before you can get to the van, because you now don't have enough nerve and strain left to make it. So let's see, it would probably be about probably like 20 to 30 meters away. So you're close-ish. You just feel all the strength going out of you, and everything goes black, and you just collapse.
Let's know you guys.
Would it help if I could add to the nerve pool? Can I add? Would that help?
How many have you got left, Johnny? I don't think it would help.
No.
I think yeah. I mean, I only had 1 nerve anyway, so I figure that's gonna do me in anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless of the spent strain.
So you're not dead, I will say.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead to us.
I'm not. Yeah. He's outlived his usefulness. I mean, the guy tried to illuminate the forest with a hammer, for God's sake. Girl, I should say. Sorry, I always forget that 12's actually female.
Yeah, I'm not sure I actually said that though in the introductions. And you're like, now.
No, but it's
session
on me.
zero.
Yeah,
It's
I'm,
me just making presumptions based on the deep masculine voice and the. Yeah.
Did you not ask me my pronouns?
So Merc, who's obviously running with you, so Graham's gone down. He's a little way behind. Linda and Merc are also being stung, of course, and Linda also collapses. Just maybe, in fact, probably slightly before 12. Merc's still standing, and so she reaches down to try and, help 12 up. But he's at this point he's a kind of dead weight, and she's sort of struggling. Like, she's only quite small herself. She's quite young, not all that strong. She's kind of struggling to lift him up.
I'll run out to
same time, sort of trying to wave away.
I'm going to run out and try and grab the other arm.
Okay. Ira, you're staying.
TV.
Yeah, I mean, what use can I be?
Yeah, right.
It'd take me too long to get back in my van.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay here.
I mean, I guess you're leaving the doors open, ready for them to get in. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'd have to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Phil, let's just kind of get an idea for how well and quickly you can make it there. And
I mean, if it's me doing it as opposed to Mono, then I'm better off. But
well, this is going to be. Let's have a look. It's going to be vigor, probably the same as I asked Johnny to do. So vigor plus athletics.
3 dice.
3, not terrible. And this is going to
add a nerve in.
It's going to be a difficulty 7. But again, given that you're going out, I'll tell you what, actually, 2 things. Given that you're going out into the now quite large swarm of hornets, I think you're going to lose a nerve dice.
Yep.
Just for the stress of it. And I'm afraid it is going to be a handicap 3. So it needs 4 successes.
Such a git. Alrighty.
Just to check, Neil, I can't give him a success with the strain die, can I? As I'm now passed out.
I think probably
that
not.
Doesn't make a Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't say in the rules, but I think it would be kind of crazy to. Yeah.
I'm marking 2 off my nerve, and I've got mostly full strain at the moment. So
okay.
What happens? Oh, that was amazing. So I rolled a 10, and then everything else was 6 or below.
Oh.
So I'm going to. I'll mark 2 off my strain. Got another 10. So I've got 2 10s.
Okay. I can give you a test with one of my strain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Get one more.
Yeah. Take something from the party. We got anything left?
Got 5 left in the party pool.
I got 5 left.
You want to reload? Yeah. Because we didn't use any because I haven't gone down from the start.
Oh! And then I rolled another 10 with the party pool.
Ah.
So just about.
Just about.
Nice.
Okay.
I think I slipped a lot.
Yeah.
That's probably how I didn't get stung, was that I was just trying to get out there and I slipped and my legs went from under me just as I was grabbing. And so I ended up lower and it kind of went to come and hit me.
Okay. You heard it just buzz past your ear.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just sprint over, dodging and trying to bat away the wasps, hornets rather. You make it to 12's now completely motionless form, and in fact, it's kind of looking like a bit of a sea of carnage now. What's the name? Merc, who is trying to lift 12 up, is now just kind of she's sort of panting heavily and feebly trying to swat the hornets away, just down on her knees. It looks like she's about to pass out any minute. 12's down. Linda's down. Graham's down. Tom's down. In gradually kind of further and away from you in that order.
I'm gonna stick my hand on the doors and start to close them,
Okay.
just in case.
Fuck.
Thanks for
under my
tuning in
breath.
to Wasteland Wednesdays.
Thank
Join
you.
us next week for the adventures of Ira.
Yeah.
As I get back to the van, you can hear me muttering under my breath. I told you we should go. We shouldn't stay the night here, you bastards.
So Mono, so you make it to 12. But everyone else is laid out as well. So
No, it's not the time for a nap.
are you grabbing 12? Are you going to try and grab someone else or more than one person? Or are you forgetting
Merc
12
is-
and just legging
Merc
it?
is kaput, right?
Sorry?
Merc is down as well.
Merc, it's like she's just still with it, but like it looks like she's about to go any moment.
So I'm giving that kind of rallying battle cry. Come on, let's get him to the van. And
Okay.
I basically then grab 12, but in the hope of pulling 12 will also kind of pull Merc along.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Right.
That's theory.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to, because Merc's important, not say the others aren't, but I'm going to roll for her and see.
Spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah, if need be, I can use my authority ability to give people more nerve, but it's based on successes. So
Well,
only
well
successes.
12 could have used that.
I was told I couldn't.
No,
Yeah.
it's true. That's true. It, wouldn't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
'cause it doesn't give
Yeah.
that much. Well, yeah, it wouldn't.
It can give 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I get 4 successes. Yeah.
Okay, so you grab 12, I guess similar, maybe like try and swing her over your shoulder. You do get stung. And so I don't think you get a defense because you're busy trying to pick 12 up. I rolled for it and I did roll quite high, I'm afraid. So it's going to be 6 minus your armor, although you've got quite good armor as well, I think. Oh, no, actually, you don't. It's because it's not hitting damage, so that only gives you 1 armor. So that's a 5.
Surely it's hitting me with its stinger.
Injury. So that counts as a serious wound.
Ouch.
What else?
Whatever.
Yeah. So congratulations, you successfully rolled nearly dying.
Well, you would have taken more hits.
Yeah.
Roll, so,
Serious wound. Okay. Which means
and you-
-2
and
on
you
all my
lose-
rolls.
2 nerve and 2 strain.
Okay.
What does that put you on?
I'm telling you, because then you'll keep count. I've got 2 nerve left and 4 strain left.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, it's fine for you.
You managed to hoist 12 up. However, I didn't roll very well for Merc. She goes down.
Uh-oh.
I assume you're going to try and bundle 12 into the van.
Yep.
So let's get another roll the same, please. Vigor plus whatever it was, athletics.
Am I now impeded by my wounds?
No,
Yeah.
because you haven't taken. It's only when you fill up a track.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Fill up.
Oh, okay.
Actually, is that right?
That's not what we did last
Yeah,
time.
sure, that's right. I don't know.
No, now I've said that, I think that should have applied for 12 earlier. No, I think it's as soon as you've got a wound of that level.
Wound
You
effect, page 52.
That kind of would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
But
I
basically, you
didn't
have no
roll
dice
after
now.
I took the wounds, though.
Whenever a player checks a wound circle, she immediately loses the associated number of dice.
There's a 2 dice penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Arse. Oh dear. So
Yeah.
you need 4 successes
From 2 dice.
from 2.
Yeah.
From 2
Um,
dice.
Oh,
As-
this is going to be
as
a
I'm
real
being-
surprise for you, but I failed that roll.
as I'm being carried, can I somehow spend one of my strain just to sort of dive head first?
Use direction.
Can I get out of my wheelchair and use my crutches to go and save Merc? In this hazardous situation seems to be going awry.
Probably not, but let me.
I will damn well try.
Well, so first of all, Phil, I guess you probably haven't got enough dice to throw at that to make it a success, have you?
That is
Some
the
left in
case.
some left in the
Yeah.
party pool.
Okay. So
I mean, I can try it, actually. I mean, I could spend strain and still have 1 strain less left. But I've only got 4 strain available, so I'm kind of reluctant to spend more than 3.
yeah,
And I'm probably
if you
not
know
gonna
what,
be able-
this puts you in basically the same position that Johnny was in earlier. If you
Exactly.
spend enough dice to pass it,
then
you
I'm
won't.
fooked.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it's a lose-lose situation. So Mono hoists up 12, gets stung, and I suppose Ira is the only one left standing who sees Mono takes a couple of valiant steps forwards, but there's more hornets kind of now surrounding and kind of descending on him. At which point, for Mono, everything goes black. And just like I said with to Johnny, suddenly you feel like incredibly cold, incredibly heavy, and the strength just kind of saps out of you. And 12 suddenly seems to weigh 100 tons, and your legs kind of buckle, and you just take one more step, and then you just try as you might, the venom just takes effect, and you just collapse.
So basically, you asked me to roleplay how I feel every morning. Thanks.
Exactly. So Ira is the last man standing, albeit sitting.
Woman.
Albeit female.
Yeah. Okay.
What's going on with this show?
Last woman sitting then. As 12 and Mono, well, 12's already down. Mono collapses, and Ira, presumably at this point, is A, panicking, and B, desperately wondering what on earth she's going to do.
Yeah, I've got my hand on the door to kind of close the door.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so just as you're sort of beginning to close the door, you notice just a change in the behavior of the wasps. And actually, here's an idea. How about Phil and Johnny? How do you feel? This might work quite nicely. How do you feel about turning off your headphones and or speakers so that you don't know what happens? And I'll message on the private chat when it's time to rejoin. How does that sound?
That sounds great. I can actually bring us out, so it's just you and Ira on the screen as well. However, on a personal note, I'm a little disappointed because I was convinced that you were going to ask Johnny and I to roleplay as wasps.
We can do that too.
Alrighty. So yeah, just give us a signal when you're ready.
So watch for my message on the private chat then.
Or just do that.
Oh yeah, that's true. I can just do that. Yeah.
See you in a bit.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, you notice a change in the behavior of the wasps. They suddenly sort of raise up a bit and start to sort of gather together, which obviously makes you pause. And then you notice a movement at the edge of the trees, a distinctly non-wasp movement. And a figure steps surprisingly calmly from the tree line towards the general kind of carnage that you see in front of you. And you're extremely surprised to see what looks like a young kid. Maybe just like early teens, maybe not even that.
Okay.
Dressed in sort of slight patched together but reasonably kind of decent, kind of light clothes, a bit grubby, but quite healthy looking quite sort of well fed, and waving a bowler. Is it bowler or bolas? Bowler, isn't it? And then from other points in the tree line, some other, again, kids. They're mainly barefoot, and they act very calm. They're not saying anything. They're not talking, not making any sound, actually. And they step almost kind of ghost-like from the trees, sort of pretty much in unison, waving these bola. And for whatever reason, the wasps seem to be reacting to them, and kind of gathering together and beginning to move upwards in more like in a swarm now. And the kids slowly sort of advance gradually. Are you going to do anything at this point, or are you going to wait and see what happens?
If they've gone away from the bodies, the wasps that
The
on
wasps,
it,
they
sorry,
have.
I think I will step out of the vehicle and use my crutches, just take a few steps forwards. Who was closest? Was it 12 that was closest?
Yes, 12.
Yeah, so I'll probably step over towards where 12 is.
Yeah.
And just kind of monitor and watch them and make it visible that I'm watching them.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. So they carry on their advance, and once it's clear that the wasps are sort of moving away, a couple of them, and again, no speech at all, like no communication between them, but it's just like they seem to know what they're going to do. A couple of them break into a run, running straight towards whichever of the fallen bodies is nearest, and immediately kneel down and pull out something from like a pouch or like a pocket or something, little tubs of something, and they scoop this kind of black goop and start to smear it on, and they're kind of like checking vitals, like listening for breathing, and while the others, so the 2 or 3 of them are doing that, and 3, let's say, and then the others still are coming forwards waving, and the wasps actually continue to go up and away, and eventually they're kind of up at like the canopy sort of level, at which point then they begin to kind of disperse.
Interesting.
Are you staying put and watching still?
I'm gonna stay put. If it doesn't look like they're injuring anybody or taking anything, I think I'm gonna
as far
watch.
as you can tell, quite the opposite. It looks like they're trying to help the fallen people.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch, and I guess eventually they'll do one person at a time, and maybe when they get to like people within like 10 feet or something, I might try talking to her.
Okay. So exactly what you said. Once the wasps disperse, they stop waving their things, and they stop, and they kind of take a very watchful kind of, all dotted around, kind of looking into the forest, whilst the 3 move among all of the fallen, checking for life signs, and to some of them administering black gunk, presumably the living ones. And once it's clear the immediate danger has passed, one of them looks like possibly the oldest, although, I mean, like still young to mid-teens at most, probably maybe like 14 or something. A young lad. He walks straight up to you, and he stops quite close, and he kneels down, and he bends and gently touches his forehead against the ground, and then stands again. He reaches into a pocket, and he pulls out a little wooden carving. And he, with both hands, he gestures out there towards you. Are you taking it?
Yeah, I'll take it off.
Yeah. Yeah, you
I
take
can't
it.
replicate the whole bending down thing, but I might
Yeah,
out my
okay.
head a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Try and
yeah,
replicate
it's
it
like
without bending down.
kind of friendly sort of acknowledgement. Okay. Still hasn't said anything. You take this wooden carving and have a look at it, and like it's not an expert carving. It's not like exquisitely done, but it's good enough that you can easily tell what it's supposed to be, and it gives you quite a shock because it's a carving of a slightly elderly woman with a rifle on her back in a bodged together four-wheel wheelchair.
I'm going to ask then. You've been following me?
And silently,
Then who made this? Pointing at the.
and she gestures towards, he gestures to all the other kids to kind of indicate the group.
So what? We should go. You want us to go with you that way? Oh, okay. Well, what about my friends here? I can't carry them.
And at that point, again, with no word being said, as soon as you say that, the other kids all turn and all together they all move towards, again, like as if it had been prearranged, as if they know exactly what they're doing. Each group of like 2 or 3 moves towards one of the prone forms, and together they kind of just about manage to pick them up. So they're picking up Mono and 12 and Merc, who are the 3 that they administered black goop to.
Okay.
The others, they're not. But they were the ones who fell earlier. So presumably they didn't make it.
Timing wise, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will get my wheelchair down, and I will, in the wheelchair, begin to follow, I guess.
Okay.
So I will turn the engine off in the vehicle.
Good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
And if presuming the keys are still there, I will lock it.
Yeah.
You never know.
Sensible. Yeah, you never know. Exactly. Okay. All right. So between them, carrying it still silently, between the lot of them, they carrying the still kind of prone bodies, and they move remarkably skillfully and lively through the forest. They seem to know exactly where they're going, and they move really quite fast. And in fact, you get the sense that maybe they're slowing down a bit so that you can keep up. You get the feeling if you weren't there, they would just be sort of bounding off, or almost like the way you see like a forest creature kind of bounding through the trees. They just seem totally at home, know exactly where they're going. Occasionally, they stop, and again, nobody seems to give a signal. They all just stop at once, and then you hear like a forest creature kind of, and clearly they've stopped, and they wait for it to pass, and then you carry on. And you head quite deep into the woods, not into the hornet bit of the woods, into the other side. The bit you'd started exploring. Eventually reaching a spectacular looking settlement, village maybe, dotted with the glows of numerous small fires, a whole like settlement of huts and platforms and different sort of wooden constructions, all basically up in the trees, all at different levels, connected by ropes and rope bridges and ladders, and everywhere these little wooden bowls filled with some kind of like grease, like some thick oil or something, which is burning and giving off this lovely flame that kind of lights the whole place, and a sort of a bitter lemony kind of scent that fills the air. And this is clearly where they live, and there are clearly a number of them. And so as you get there, dozens of kids, all kids.
Okay.
You don't see anyone older than probably teenage. All completely silent. And right in the middle of this, let's call it a village, a totem pole carved with all different kind of shapes and figures and so on. And they very carefully lay down your friends' bodies. And some others come from the village and immediately begin to kind of check them over. And again, they're like checking vital signs. They get out some more gunk and they're starting to, one of them has some kind of like oil, strongly smelling like a sort of essential kind of thing, which is like rubbing on their temples. And they all seem like they're going about their business. They clearly want to do what they can for the fallen few. So they're kind of ignoring you for that reason because they're all kind of busy. But nevertheless, there seems to be a certain sort of quite a respectful kind of attitude towards you.
Okay.
And well, first of all, are you going to do anything at this point? Are you? So you arrive at the village, you kind of wheel up, you're sort of in pretty much in the middle. So you've got all these huts and things all around you. You've got the totem pole and your friends laid out kind of in front of you, being tended to.
Oh, I'm not gonna move from where they are, just to make sure that they're okay. But am I able to see any form of like a hierarchy? Is there like a leader? And nobody's talking at all, right?
Nobody's talking at all. No.
Yeah.
And no. This, in fact, that's one of the weird things. Like everyone seems to know what they're doing, but nobody seems to be in charge.
Yeah.
And not
is
even
there anything carved?
They're not even like gesturing to each other.
Really? And is there anything carved in the totem pole?
Yes, it's all carved. Would you recognize anything?
I was going to say, more importantly, would I not recognize it? Yeah.
Yeah, right. That is a good question.
I'm just wondering if it's like relates to like a deity kind of thing.
Well, I think this would be a good opportunity for a roll.
Okay.
Particularly because we don't do this kind of roll very often. So how about knowledge plus... this is a hard one. I'll give you a choice of civilization or road. I don't know if that makes any difference to you.
It does not. So I will go with civilization because I think that's probably a little bit more apt.
Yeah.
So it's 3 dice and a reroll. I need that reroll.
You only need a single success.
Yeah, 1 success at 8.
Okay, that's fine. That's what we need. So a lot of the symbols are quite sort of abstract, but you do spot what look like sort of natural themes. So it's like a leaf and a vine, things like that. But the one thing that does stand out to you is a particular totemic symbol, and it's the symbol of the adapted totem.
Okay.
And the adapted is basically the it sort of stands for the force of nature, but it's humankind becoming one with the force of nature. So you probably wouldn't know all that much about it. It's the sort of thing that you've heard rumors about. So people talk about, particularly the younger generations, having like what you might call shamanic kind of powers, or the ability to sort of commune with nature and that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
this is their symbol.
Well, I think at this point I would probably, hopefully, sit and wait for my friends to wake up if they're being treated, and kind of observe what everyone's doing, and try and figure out how they're communicating. Because then it might be easier for me to communicate back, but they seem to understand me, so it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So you sort of settle in for a bit, just observing, seeing what you notice. And it's actually not all that long before they start to begin to kind of stir. So at this point, I wonder if I do that, I wonder if they'll know I'm talking to them, or maybe they think I'm thumb-upping you. Whatever.
No, I was getting lost in my beer.
So, Johnny and Phil, could I, from both of you, get a vigor plus... heal. Vigor plus heal. Which is not great for either of you.
I can't even see where here. Oh, there's those. Okay.
Man.
Do we need the 2 successes because of the handicap on the heal?
I tell you what, just roll and tell me what you get, because it's more a case of which one of you gets higher.
Well, I can't roll anything because I've got a -2 dice penalty.
Oh, well, in that case, it doesn't matter too much. So we'll say that in that case, 12 wins automatically by at least being able to roll a dice. So it's just to see which of you comes to you first. So 12.
Do you want me to disappear again?
No, you can stay.
Oh.
You can carry on drinking. But, it's impossible to tell how long has passed. But suddenly you're aware of just this horrible, throbbing, hot pain everywhere in your body. But then being able to feel that makes you realize that you must be alive, you must be awake. But where are you? And you manage to force yourself past the pain, and you open your eyes. You're lying on your back. Everything hurts. And there's flickering light all around you. And you realize that it's firelight coming from a number of little fires all around. Everything's very quiet, very peaceful. It's nighttime. You're in the forest. And you're looking up into the canopy of the trees. You can just about see a few stars. And there's some wooden platforms up there in the trees that you're looking at. And just as your head's kind of throbbing and you're sort of trying to puzzle together what on earth is going on, when suddenly a face appears above you, looking down. A young girl, probably only 11 or 12, slightly messy, dirty hair, but looking quite sort of healthy and well nourished. And she looks down at you. And she gives a big smile. She doesn't say anything, but she smiles, and then she stands up and disappears from your sight.
Oh. Where am I? What is this place? Who was that?
Another young, even slightly younger, maybe lad, suddenly appears by your side and helps you to sit up. And you just about manage to kind of come into a sitting position. You realize there's a big rock behind you, so you kind of lean back against that. And he hands you a little wooden, looks like a hand carved little wooden bowl full of water, and just brings it up and just helps you to drink. And it's this lovely, fresh, just plain water, but really fresh, and just helps to kind of slightly sort of reinvigorate you. And you look around, you see you're in a clearing, and Ira is there in a wheelchair, sort of the other side of the clearing, just noticing you sitting up, and beside you, Merc and Mono, being tended to by, again, more children. Everything's completely silent. But they're, and you notice there's this thick black paste covering you. And at this point, Mono starts to come to, and you kind of hear Mono moaning. And as Mono opens his eyes, of course, you see basically the exact same thing. These children moving around, everything hurts. Over to you.
I think, without even opening my eyes, the first thing I do is kind of pat down, trying to find I've probably got like a hip flask or something. And I start coughing almost like a heavy smoker's cough. What is this? Surrounded by small people, children? 12?
Hey, Mono, I've been kind of busy. I started the whole orphanage, see?
Jesus.
No, I'm joking.
How long have I been gone?
Yes, 10 years later.
About 3 years, yeah. No, it's like you guys might have been asleep for, I don't know, a couple of hours max. It's not been long. These kids, they saved you. They didn't manage to save Graham and the other two, the kid and his mom, but you guys were close. There's a lot to be thankful for when these guys turned up. They're treating us well, but you're trying to keep the voice levels down. They don't talk at all.
That's weird. Where are we?
We're just deeper in the forest. It was kind of like towards where we were going, but we're off the beaten track. I'm not quite sure. We headed deeper into the forest, though.
The van. Where's my van?
Oh, and I'll jingle the keys. I locked it up. There you go.
You locked it?
Okay.
I miss. I tried to grab them. I completely missed. They probably hit some kid in the head or something. 12. Is that you?
I think so.
You're covered in black shit. Am I? Oh, Jesus!
It stinks, but it almost, you can feel where it's been put on a kind of just this lovely cool sort of feeling, like calming down the sort of throbbing heat of the stings.
I need a drink.
Here, they give me a bowl of water. It's fresh, tasty. Try some.
Has it got any alcohol in it?
I don't think so, but it'll be better than that battery acid you carry around in that hip flask of yours. Try it.
And is it supposed to be green? Cheers. Skull.
Skull.
Oh,
So
it tastes like rancid apples.
this is like water to me, but hey.
Maybe it's something died in my mouth.
This is more likely, yes. Ira. The last thing I remember was those damn hornets. How the hell did these kids deal with them? What did they do?
I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure. They had something they were whirling around their heads, and it seemed to if not deter the hornets, it seemed to control them to an extent. A few of the kids doing that, and then within a couple of minutes they were up in the air and above the canopy, away from you all.
This is crazy, unimaginable. How they know this stuff? They live here in the forest, or?
Well, I think they do, yeah. You remember Merc was talking about those silent ones? Well, I think we
this
found
is
them.
them.
Not one of them has said a word to me, but they know who we are.
We should learn how to make this item that was being waved around the head. Was it like
We might be
a
able to-
chemical or like an object or?
It was just an object. It was simple. I'm sure we could potentially trade for one if they're willing.
If they have more than one.
I mean, if they even want to trade, I don't know. Seems like they got everything they need here.
Do they have food?
Looks like it. They're all healthy.
I need food and sleep. And a drink.
Amen to that. Yes.
And
Well, we can do 2 of those.
Oh, because I've only got 2 dice.
No, we can do 2. We can do 2 of those because they're not going to give you any drink, are they? They're all minors.
at this point, so you get to, of course, as you're sat and you're talking, also kind of having a look around. It seems like a really well-established village. Wouldn't quite be the right word, but there's all these huts and platforms and wooden buildings, and they're all up in the trees. They're all connected by ropes and rope bridges and ladders, and these lovely little dishes with something burning in them, flickering light. Lovely kind of lemony smell fills the air, and there are loads of these kids. I mean, there's dozens. It's got to be 30 at least, probably more. Slightly more boys than girls. At the oldest, from the people you see moving around, or kids you see moving around, maybe like 15 or 16 tops, and going down to maybe like sort of possibly as low as 6 or 7. So real range, including quite young. All moving purposefully, clearly having jobs to do, all completely silently. And as you begin to kind of take in the surroundings and you're having this conversation, one in particular comes up, and Merc is beginning to come to as well. And like you, she's sort of looking around in sort of dazed amazement. And one of the slightly older lads comes up to you, and when I say older, maybe 15, and he comes up and he looks at 12 and at Mono and briefly at Merc, who doesn't seem quite as interested in Merc, and he's got this little couple of places like on his clothes, and they're all wearing quite natural, simple clothes, kind of a bit like patched together, but quite good quality, like basic but very functional. And he's got a couple of little skulls, like maybe like a rodent skull or some small animal, kind of hanging off. And he comes up and I didn't mention as well, you're in this little clearing. There's a big totem pole as well. You'll see a big totem pole in the middle. He comes up, he walks over to the totem pole. He's sort of looking at you, and he picks something up, a few little things from like the base of the totem pole. And he walks over and he stops in front of 12. And he goes down on his knees, and then he sort of bows down, and he brings his forehead all the way down to the forest floor, and then comes up again. And then he holds out to 12 some little wooden, like carved little wooden kind of ornament. And then he goes down, he does exactly the same thing. He goes over to Mono, same thing, sort of bows down. The second one holds it out to Mono. Doesn't do it to Merc, just to you two. I guess do you take the wooden ornament as offered to you?
Sure.
Yeah. So 12, yours is of, like, it's not expertly done, but it's good enough that you can make out what it's supposed to be. Looks like it's been hand carved, like kind of whittled. And it shows a figure that you can't quite tell if it's male or female. Looks like probably young. and holding a sledgehammer. And Mono, yours is of a looks like a man, probably like mid-30s, wearing a baseball cap and holding some kind of mechanical object. And he offers you this these things, and then kind of steps like quite respectfully, almost like kind of sort of steps back and sort of gives you a little kind of nod.
I'm not very good with people, so I probably just kind of bow my head a little bit, and then I look up at Ira and just hold it up a little bit to kind of.
Hey, would you look at that? You go one too. Hey, look here's mine. I don't know why Merc didn't get one. Obviously, she's done something wrong.
Not as good as us.
But yeah, I was given that back at the car park.
So they've been watching us for some time.
Yeah, and they seem to know I'd be the only one that would be stood over at the car park as well, because obviously yours was by the totem pole. They seem to know more than they're letting on.
Huh.
Have you ever heard rumors of the Adapted? Have you heard of that?
Don't think so.
There's some of those symbols in that totem pole over there. They kind of match some of the things you kind of associate with the Adapted, from what I've heard. That they're kind of what word would you use? Kind of like modern day shamans, I guess. They're kind of at one with nature. This could be like the extreme side of it, but I don't know enough stories to know what how they're communicating or anything like that. It's the first time I've seen it in person.
And as you start talking about how it seems that they're one with nature, and they're a community that has found some kind of natural balance, you can kind of straight away see that it's almost like there's been a physical burden across my entire frame for months, and it kind of lifts a little bit, and everything about me just relaxes a little bit. And what that actually means from a Mono's perspective is, Mono is convinced that civilization in the traditional sense is itself a bit of an infection and a bit of a corruption on the earth. And this place feels like a demonstration of how it could be done better.
Hey, Mono, I can see you're more relaxed, but I wouldn't get your hopes up of staying here too long.
I'm a bit old for this place, right?
Exactly, yeah. You don't know what happens to we're all the adults. For all we know, they could be sacrificed to the tree gods or something.
Maybe this is the way. But one thing we know, they probably don't eat us.
Well, I've not seen a cooking pot big enough yet, so.
Exactly. It would taste bad.
That's very true.
Lamb, not mutton.
Sorry, 12.
Yeah, you're younger. You can go first.
Thank you.
As you're having this conversation, Merc is kind of putting herself together, and she's listening to what you're saying, and kind of looking around, and in the same sort of confusement that maybe that you all feel. And then you probably notice that she suddenly sort of, like, she's still a bit not quite with it, but she suddenly looks a bit startled, and she sort of and she sort of looks at you, and you can see, like, she kind of she immediately tries to make herself look relaxed and normal, but something has shocked her, and she's kind of looking at all of you with a sort of expression of like, I really want to tell you something, but I'm not sure I can. That sort of like,
Are you okay over there, Mark? I mean, we're safe here. It's okay.
yeah. I'm just, I feel a bit. Oh God, it's the, I guess the hornet venom. But hey, do you think? And she looks at this lad with the little skulls hanging off him, and she says, "We're very hungry. I know we already owe you a lot, but do you have any food that you could share, maybe?" And he smiles and kind of nods and walks off. And as soon as he kind of gets a little distance away, she sort of leans forward and she says, in a kind of a whisper, she says, you remember I told you a couple of kids went missing from the village?
Yeah.
I'm sure I just saw Liar's son, Adrian. I mean, it was a couple of years ago, and of course he's grown, but I'm almost certain it was him. I think he's one of these, whatever the fuck, silent ones.
Well, that would kind of compute. That's the right kind of age. Maybe we need to do some digging.
Like, what? Has he been kidnapped? Or like, what the fuck? Who are these kids?
Which one? Do you see them now?
She looks around. No, he was over there. It looked like he was maybe just fetching something, like moving between some of the huts. And she gives you maybe like just a very brief description of what he looks like, to kind of what to look for.
I look at Ira with a kind of, shall I, kind of question, and I think Ira immediately would know that I'm considering just shouting, Adrian.
Adrian!
Yes, exactly.
So no, don't do that just yet. Can we see? So I was introduced to kind of one of the kids first.
Yeah.
And he kind of communicates to bring back to the village. Is he about?
You've seen him around and about. I think probably if you're looking for him, you could probably spot him and get his attention.
Yeah, I think if it takes a couple of minutes, be like, just stay quiet for a moment, just enjoy the food that they bring when they bring it. I'm going to find this kid, and I'm going to try and give it a couple of minutes, maybe wheel around a little bit, not too far to be intrusive, but to try and grab this kid as he walks past. I'm just going to ask him. So I just wanted to say thank you for saving me and my friends. But I don't know what your name is.
He smiles, and he looks around, and he reaches to a tree. He pulls off a leaf. He holds up the leaf.
Well, your name's Leaf? Keith. I think his name's Keith. No, literally Leaf. That's it. Are you all called Leaf?
It's not charades.
So I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Leaf. How old are you? Do you know how old you are?
And he sort of.
Age is just a number anyway. It's okay. Do you know how long you've been here? How many seasons have you been here? How many winters have you been here? That's a good one.
He thinks for a minute.
Six winters. And how old does he actually look? If you had to guess.
He looks probably about 12-ish.
Okay. And you said there's nobody under about 5 or 6 either.
Doesn't seem to be. No.
Okay.
from 5, 6 up to 15, 16. That kind of range.
And I think if he's happy for me to keep talking to him, I'm going to be like, so what do you guys do around here? This is an amazing kind of place you've built, but you're all so busy. You don't get to enjoy it.
It's really hard to
I'm testing your transferability. Yeah.
He'd be quite good at it. I'm not.
You're buffering.
Well, my brain's buffering. So he says, and he gestures to all, like everyone, kind of, and then he kind of mimes like getting something from his belt. And just
your
like
healer?
Yeah, so it looks just like that. And he said, and he says, and then he kind of points at you, and then he points at 12, Mono, and Merc. And then he points at the guy with the lad with the skulls. Let's call him Skull, so I don't have to keep saying the lad with the skulls. And then he points at the totem pole. And he says, oh, he doesn't say, he goes, he goes,
okay.
And then he points again, Ira, Mono, 12.
Well, we don't see it. We just feel it with our third eye.
And then he points at Skull again.
He's in charge. He is the third eye. He's the smartest one. I'm not good at this game.
Is he saying that he's a seer?
Oh, okay. He's a
Does he
hippie.
see the future as well? He sees the future as well.
Sure you want to know that?
He points again at Skull, and then at you 3.
So he saw the three of us.
Does he see us do something in the future that we must do? Is that why you've rescued us? So that we can fulfill that future?
Gestures again to include all the tribe, let's call them, like all the kids. And then again points at you 3, and then
Friends? Linked somehow? Linked.
Well, I guess someone's going to have to tell us what we should be doing.
hint to GM.
I mean, yeah, maybe we should find that seer kid.
Well, it's clear that they are very fond of us. We are unsure why we should be fond of them, apart from saving our lives. You know, I mean,
That was
we're
relatively
grateful
important
for that,
storyline.
obviously.
Maybe we should go check out this totem pole a little bit closer.
Agreed. Do you think it's some sort of source of power or something, or it tells a story, or?
I think it might tell a story. Yeah. Is that what totem poles are for? I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've.
They don't have them in neither Scandinavia or the Nordics. So you're the American.
I mean, why is one in Britain?
Seems a strange time for you to be speaking so formally.
Well,
Why are you here?
why are you here? What are you doing?
I don't know. Is this? Can we tell? Is this new?
It doesn't look super new, and I suppose I should clarify. When I say totem pole, it doesn't necessarily look like a Native American style totem pole. I guess I'm more just using a shorthand of carved pole, I suppose, rather than like the kind of stacked faces that I sort of imagine like a Native American one.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Is it a tree trunk that's been carved so there's roots at the bottom going into the ground, or is it something that's been placed as in like a totem pole's been put into the ground?
It's been placed more like a totem,
cool.
in a sense. Yeah.
So it's not like we're not talking like it's a living organism.
No.
Potentially controlling everybody and stuff like that.
It absolutely was a tree. It certainly was a tree trunk at one point. Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't feel anything if you touch it. Presuming I'm allowed to touch it.
You haven't touched it.
A few would.
They don't seem to object, and feels like a carved bit of
This
wood.
looks like a tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have we seen a tongue from any of the children? Do we believe that they're not speaking because they're?
Oh, I couldn't work out what you were getting at there.
Yeah, sorry.
That
That sounded a bit weird, I guess. Thinking back, I knew what I was getting at, but yeah.
actually
They
Why they're not speaking if they're all?
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
They seem. I mean, whether they can speak or not, you don't know, but they seem to have tongues. Yeah.
Okay. It's just outside of the game. I'm thinking, well, if we can find this Adrian, we know he speaks English. We know he has a tongue, so that there's, we should perhaps be able to communicate with him should we need to, better than sort of charades.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they bring you some food, and it's not a bad selection of. There's no meat, but there's good selection of basically forest food. So there's various kind of berries and some leaves, and some things have been kind of cooked and prepared in quite a sort of fancy, or not fancy, but at least a skillful way. And it's for quite simple food, it's quite delicious actually. And there's like some mushrooms and various different things, and some fresh water. And again, they seem to, even the way they sort of present you with the food, it's very respectful. It's as if you're like honored guests. They're very like kind of humbly sort of presenting it to you. And one of them, and it seems to be like every time it's someone different. This is a much younger girl. Gives you the food, and then she sort of gestures up at one of the little huts quite near up in like halfway up a tree, and then she sort of gestures towards all you four, and she sort of does this.
Oh, honey, there's no chance I'm getting up that tree. I could stay down here though.
And then without saying anything, a little group of 3 or 4 others come and then they sort of they're kind of looking at your wheelchair, and they go over to one of the nearby trees and start rigging up basically like a kind of a makeshift shelter.
I thought you were going to say an elevator then.
Yes.
Big up the kebab shop.
Exactly. All right, I think, looking at the time, I think that would be a good point to leave it for this evening on a bit of a not a cliffhanger, a bit of a question mark. And I want to leave you with a question that I would like you to think about for next session.
Next Wednesday,
exactly. Because this is the perfect spot for a rumor vote. Do you remember the voting thing that we did? And so the question is going to be, what do the silent ones think about the Aeolians, or know about / think about? And your options are going to be, it's going to be quite broad. So the idea is we kind of set the tone but not the specifics. So are they broadly friendly towards? Are they antagonistic or hostile towards? Or are they neutral or ambivalent? And that third one could include don't even know they exist. And so have a think about which of those you want to vote for. And we'll do a secret vote like we did before. and maybe a little thought about why. You know, what's your ideas about why that is, and remember, the idea of this is really just whatever you think will make the most interesting story, and or whatever which you would most like to see play out.
We can do that.
Because I think this is one of the quite unique and interesting features of this system, is this kind of voting thing. And this incidentally isn't in the book to have a vote here, but I just think it would be a really good, just kind of fits. It seems to kind of work. So
yeah,
let's start next session with that, and then that will kind of guide then where we go.
So it's been a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Mr. GM Neil.
Very welcome.
Thank you,
It
Neil.
has been fun.
Yeah, and until next time, how can people find you, Neil?
Oh, the usual way, at paladinroleplaying.com for all your dice and other gaming supply needs, or on the excellent Dark Orb Discord as Paladin Neil.
And Chris, how can people find you?
Yeah, same place, not on the website, but on the Discord. You can find me as Chris Daco on the Discord there.
And Johnny?
Yeah, I'm on the Discord as well.
And guess what? I'm also on the Discord. It's been fun. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, please like and subscribe, and more importantly, let us know in the comments. And yeah, we do obviously talk about our shows on the Discord as well. So please do drop in and let us know what you think. We also have a Patreon, and the links to that and the Discord down below. So thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the show. And until next time, I definitely hope your dice rolls are going to be a lot better than mine, because mine sucked. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.